The next evolution coming in December was announced to be the Ice Spirit. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the stats of the upcoming Ice Spirit evolution. I'm going to get into my opinion on whether I think it's strong or not, and then we're going to get into some gameplay of it too, so we see it in action. So we're going to start off here with Clash Royale's tweet. They also included a clip, kind of a nice teaser or trailer of what it's going to look like. It's ice to see this new evolution in action. Evolved Ice Spirit is no joke. Haha, very funny. All right, let's take a look here. So they made a tweet, naughty or ice. So yeah, Ice Spirit evolution, naughty, ice. Not sure why they're making jokes about that. But triple freeze, naughty, ice. Okay, I don't know why they keep alternating between those two words, but maybe, I don't know. So there's also going to be some new emotes, it looks like. All right, so there you guys go. So one of the first things we notice is the Ice Spirit evolution has a 3-card cycle. I wonder if that means it might be kind of weak considering the evolved skeletons. They started with a 3-card cycle and then they had to be buffed to it being 2 for them to actually be decent. But let's check out what its ability is. So the ability is called the Ice Blast, and essentially what that means is affected targets receive 2 additional freeze blasts over time. But guys, what's very interesting is unlike most evolutions where they usually get a stat buff, such as their damage or health, if we take a look at the Ice Spirit, the area damage it deals, the regular one and the evolved, are exactly the same. Same with the hit points and the freeze duration and the range. It is all exactly the same. The only difference is the evolved one has that Ice Blast damage ability. And here's a small timeline so you guys can visualize it. So each of the freeze blasts are separated apart by 3 seconds, and then each of the actual freezes last for 1.2 seconds, just like the regular Ice Spirit does. Alright guys, so now let's get into some gameplay of the Ice Spirit evolution. I'll show you guys in a little bit a full game with it so you guys can see how it is in an actual match. And it's worth noting, it doesn't just affect troops, it also can hit buildings and towers, dealing a significant amount of chip damage. Alright, so here's a clip showcasing it in action and showing how its splash effect can be useful. Notice how it's splashing the witch and the skeletons too, not just the giant. Even though it initially only locked on the giant, it can still splash other cards inside of its radius. It can also reset cards such as the Inferno Drag and the Sparky. Notice how it's resetting that Inferno Drag and also splashing the bats. Alright guys, so here's an actual game with the Ice Spirit evolution so you guys can see it in action. In my opinion, it will definitely be best inside of Hog cycle decks or Miner cycle decks because you need 3 cycles to actually use the evolution. And in my opinion, it really should be buffed to 2. I can already say for a fact this is probably going to potentially be the weakest evolution in the game, primarily because of that 3-card cycle. It's likely what we're going to have to see with the evolved skeletons when they went from 3 to 2. I think we'll need to say, see the exact same thing happen, but let me know how you guys feel about that, just because it's pretty much completely unviable inside of beatdown decks when you have a 3-card cycle, and then even inside of cycle decks, I don't know. I just don't know if you're going to be able to use it that much. You're pretty much only going to be able to get it down twice in one match. And the other thing about the Ice Spirit evolution, I feel like you actually need to be very careful how you use it. A lot of the evolutions, like say the Evolved Barbarians or the Evolved Royal Recruits, they're very easy to use and they're kind of hard to mess up. Whereas the Evolved Ice Spirit, you have to be very cautious how you use it because it's very easy for it to go to complete waste, essentially. If your opponent has a lot of elixir and is able to block it with something, it might not do very much. So you have to try to calculate it well and try to have it get value. So we're going to be able to see it soon here because as you can see, we have the Ice Spirit Evo in cycle right here. Log coming in just to clean up that witch and the Ice Spirit. So it's probably going to be a very good support to Hog pushes, because if it ends up freezing one of the units they use to counter the Hog, it's going to allow the Hog way more time to get damage on top of the tower because that unit used to defend the Hog is just going to keep getting frozen, which you'll see here with this Hog push. Ice Golem Hog coming in, the Ice Spirit is going to freeze the Mega Knight, and watch what's going to happen, right? It every, 3 seconds, it gets that 1.5 slowdown, allowing the Hog to get way more damage than it otherwise would. Now, this might not be a massive difference, and I mean, compared to the other evolutions, might not be completely game-breaking, but with that being said, inside of cycle decks, I feel like the Evo Ice Spirit will find some value, especially if they give it a buff pretty soon and make it 2 cycles. And we do know Supercell, they do like to buff the bad Evos pretty early on, like we saw them do with the Evolved Skeletons and the Evolved Bats. So I would not be surprised at all if they do get an emergency buff before the end of December, so they can kind of compete with the other Evos and get some more value. Because like I said, it just takes forever to cycle back to another. You see, even inside of something like 2.6, you have to play so many cards just to get that second evolution again, but pretty good defense otherwise, even without using it. So another Hog Rider coming in, Skeletons coming in, and yeah, you can see, so he's just going to play the Ice Spirit pretty much on nothing. So you can see, this goes to show what I was saying, right? It kind of can easily go to waste. But you see, even though it stopped hitting what it was locked on originally, that skeleton, it keeps going. So it doesn't matter if something's there or not. So that means if something walks into it, it'll then get frozen with that, effect. So that's kind of something that is interesting to know. But either way, just from this match, you guys can probably tell this Ice Spirit evolution is definitely not completely broken, which is why in this video I haven't said that this is a game-breaking evolution. Didn't try to clickbait it or anything like that, because quite frankly, that would just be lying to you guys. I don't even know if it's really going to be that good, but I guess we'll see. So perhaps, guys, it's not necessarily a bad thing that the Ice Spirit evolution isn't going to be that OP, because as you guys can see, there's 38 decks right now inside of the top 200 that are already running the Ice Spirit before the evolution. So that means if they made the Ice Spirit evolution broken, you better believe it would be everywhere at the top of the ladder, because it's already a very, very versatile card, especially inside of every single cycle deck you can think of, whether it's Mortar, Royal Hogs, Hog Rider, Miner. Even inside of Graveyard, you're seeing it, which means even if the evolution isn't that strong, we are definitely going to be seeing it used inside of some of the popular cycle decks inside of the game. Alright guys, now let's see what some other people think about the Ice Spirit evolution. Nice! Animan says, shut up and take my money, so we already know he's going to be maxing it right away. We got some ice emojis, no stat increases, and just the new mechanic is what Evo should be. So Too Good is suggesting that they shouldn't get health and damage increases, and the Ice Spirit is kind of going to be unique in that it's literally just the ability. So maybe we'll see if they continue to do evos like this, and maybe they won't be as broken. Sparky hit speed 1 minute. Yeah, it's pretty OP against the Sparky. Ice Blast! Emergency buff required. Yeah, I'd kind of have to agree. It probably does need to be lowered to a 2-card cycle instead of 3. This looks mad fun. Glad I don't have to spend money on this Evo. I guess he's implying it's very weak. It's time the game improves the shard economy. It gets difficult to compete with so many evolutions, and every new one is turning out to be a broken one. But yeah, this might hurt revenue. Well, to be fair, this one doesn't look super broken, but we do know they're going to emergency buff it. Triple freeze, that's amazing. Nothing on Clan Wars, better delete clans altogether. I knew it! My dreams are crushed, an evolution that looks balanced for once. Another evolution which is going to benefit these Hog Rider spammers. Nah, what happened to the king? Now he's frosty, ah.